see Washington football team possibly changing their name, and they have given out a list of possible names. So I just want to go through some of the best ones in here, some of the worst ones in here, just to get to see what you think of these. All right. Now,
Fire them off.
the first one, we're in Washington, the capital of the United States. So what better than the Ambassadors?
Oh, I mean, any team run by Dan Snyder, if you're actually called the Ambassadors, that's a travesty. Dan Snyder is the furthest thing from an ambassador to maybe, maybe an ambassador to,
Sexual assault.
no, yeah. What's the island? What's the island? I don't know why you read my mind. Jeff.
Oh no! Are we
The
really talking
island.
about little St. James Island?
Yes.
Oh.
He could be the ambassador, like the U.S. ambassador to that island potentially, but I don't know if I can back the ambassadors to the Washington name right there.
Hey.
That's a tough look.
Jeffrey
Epstein.
Excuse me. Really pull out the Epstein reference on there. Oh,
yep.
You're calling me kid.
Yep.
That's tough. What about here? A better one.
Not safe for work this episode.
It's all good. No workplace is safe as long as you have Dan Snyder.
Great tie in there.
Oh, now what about the next name? A little better with this one. The
Okay.
Aviators.
The Aviators. The big issue with this one, well, this would be massive for the aviation community because I think there's still 75% of the U.S. that doesn't know that aviation means flying. So
your brother would be on board with this one.
Yeah, sure. my brother, PSA, is a Navy pilot. He's actually flying over some part of the world right now, and he would be all for it. But I think that's a small subset of people that would go after the Aviators. I mean, although it would be unreal to see all the people that are just running into the stadiums and like airplane wings. I mean, the turnstiles would be a nightmare. There'd be so many clipped wings in the gates trying to get into these games. That would be funny. So I'm in for those two. I mean, the first two, I can never see them being any part of an NFL team name. So you're going to have to keep coming with new ones there.
Now, here we go. What about a callback to the greatest football league to ever exist? The Alliance of American Football, the AAF there. Sorry, didn't mean to offend any of you AAF fans, the ones that still exist. Arizona Hotshots never die. But we can throw it back to the San Antonio team, the Commanders. Now, this, I think, is one of the better names that they might have been able to come up with.
I'm a huge fan of that one. If you could get the naming rights back from the AAF, I think the Commanders would be an incredible name. And I think that's like one of those name changes that can actually create a culture for you. Because if your team name is the Commanders and you don't have natural leaders on that team, what are you doing? I mean, it's almost like it's built in for you.
It's almost like actually having Dan Snyder try and call him a commander of that.
Yes.
Now, they kind of stole from the AF, but the AF, it's good and dead. But a league that isn't dead just yet, again, is the XFL. But here you go. They have a couple names blatantly ripping from these. You got the DC Defenders, and you also have the New York Guardians. And that's two of the suggestions here. So first off, how dare you? Okay, how dare you try to rip off from the greatest league to ever exist? So great that it's been taken away from us twice. That's just a travesty. But here we go. Here's one of the really dumb ones, I think. The First City Football Club. What? Yeah.
Are you screwing with me?
No.
That's a good one.
Club, the FCFC. The FCFC.
Oh my God, that is horrible.
Who came up with that?
I mean, how do you greenlight that name? That is just atrocious. Yeah, move on to the next one. That shouldn't even get consideration. I think that's an embarrassing leak by the Washington football team on that one.
So we got the Aviators. We have, and then there's also the Pilots or the Red Tails. The Red Tails being one of the popular names before they just stuck with football team.
Yeah, I think Red Tails and Commanders. I think that's their only options at this point.
And I would also throw in there, maybe if you want to say with, I'm gonna say it. I'll trigger warning now. The Washington Redskins. If you want to stay with that, you can go Warriors. The Washington Warriors. Now,
the WW is not bad at all.
Alliteration is always good for a name.
Yeah. I think, how about just Washington and just calling it that? Just leave him nameless.
The Washington.
Like not even the football team, just Washington.
Just Washington.
Just W's everywhere.
Hey man, who are you a fan of? Oh, Washington.
Washington.
Yeah.
Sick. I didn't ask what sport. Doesn't matter. Washington.
It's just,
It's a big Washington guy.
are we talking the state, or are we talking DC, or no?
Yeah, that
just
would
Washington.
lead us to a lot of confusion there. For sure.
That's to say the least. And I think one of the worst ones here is the Wayfarers. We don't need to go back to that. Bringing back the whole Epstein controversy that Alex so graciously brought up with us, or you can just do 32 FC. Or it's no. I would say out of these, Warriors probably the top two. Warriors, Red Tails. If you want to throw in a third, let's go Commanders.
Yeah.
Then, and now, of course, Dan Sarah's going to pick something completely different than anything that's remotely good.